Okay, here we are. I mentioned in my last planning video for this that I was going to print the motor mount, and I still had lots of that hard Flash Forge Dreamer plastic left over from Mike there. That's East Coast channel, and I'll put a link down below when I get a sec. He gave me this PLA when I first got my Fabricator Mini, and it was just supposed to be the dregs left on one of his rolls, and there's was quite a lot of PLA. In fact, there's quite a bit more. I might get a few more parts done on it. But this was the part that was down on the bed. I don't know if you can see this here. That was down on my Kapton bed, and you can see there was a little bubble in the tape there that I missed. This is actually worth noting. There was an error in the file, and from here to here, I'm just going to see if the light will show that there. From here to here, it was a ridge as high as these edges, and I had to come in with my soldering iron, and I just pushed it down flat. I just smushed it out of the way, and then took a flat bastard file and brought it down, and then eventually took a very small smooth file or a fine file, and then filed it off, and then said, what the hey, that's good enough. If I want it to look nicer, I'll just hit it with a quick pass of a small mini torch, and it'll go nice and shiny and look like the rest of the PLA here. That might happen. But anyhow, other than that mistake, which has already been corrected in the part, which I will put this part, let me get this back here in center. Other than that little mistake right there, and actually that's not too bad, because when you heat it back down with an iron, you're not really losing any plastic. You're melting it into that the balance of the 20% infill, because this was printed with 20% infill. I don't know if this is gonna focus. Come on, focus. There you go. I don't know if it's easy to see, but it printed quite well. It's really freaking strong, this stuff, as well as my white PLA. That stuff is incredibly strong. I'd mentioned that in that video that I'd been testing some bushings, and I just happened to make them yellow. And some of you may have seen this from a previous video when I was talking about the linear rails. And so I printed these in yellow PLA, and I printed two styles. If you can see, this is kind of like the teeth, a whole bunch of teeth pointing in the same direction. And it works really good for rotational. Like it's really good for rotational, as well as not too bad for linear. And this is the rifled. See if I can get the light to get this, or if it'll focus properly. Maybe it won't focus. Yeah, there we go. I'll just take it off. There. You see? It's got like a rifling and then a bit of a gap, an air gap between the sides. And it seems to move. It's got a little bit of a... It grips a little bit. But it moves very easily. But it doesn't just go flying off, but it moves extremely easily on the rod. The idea, if you've looked in the design, and see if that focused. Yep. The idea would be is this rod's going to be somewhere like this, and the belt is going to go around those teeth. This is 12 millimeters around that. This is only just under 8 to pass this. So when this is inside a machine, I'm just going to drop those bearings down there, that bushing. When this is in the machine and it's hooked up, and I'm just using a bit of salvage printer belt right here. The real belt for this is still downstairs in a kit, but as you can see, it's going to miss. It will easily miss the. It's a bit rough reaching around. It's easily going to miss the linear rail, and that's the guide rail. And this motor, of course, will be moving up and down the shaft, so it's not going to have to pass any bearings or anything. There's plenty of room, even for the G220, the proper belt for that. And I'll have to set this to the correct height. It's a little bit tall right now. I'll show you that since I've got it here. Get this to focus again. Not too bad. Not the the best focus, but oh, there we go. The this here, if we look in this way, this pulley has to go down about 2 mils, and there's plenty of room for that underneath. It'll be almost flush with the bottom of that piece of metal there. So what I might do is I might actually put, I've got a couple pieces of Teflon wafer here somewhere. I might put 2 pieces of Teflon wafer so it can act like a, just to make sure this, if I bottom this out onto that, it still won't really be on the bottom, so I can push it nice and low. But I want to get it so that the top of the pulley area is below the top of these, which should be easy. And the belt will pass out through here, and then it'll go down that gantry, that aluminum X-axis gantry. But that's the motor mount. You might be looking at this nut in here and wondering how you fasten that. Well, you don't need everything super tight. Let's see if I can do this with one hand here. Yep. So what you do is you take a jeweler's screwdriver. You know, these ones here, they got that black sort of hardened steel. And the nice thing about these is when they're new, actually I gotta undo this, give myself some room here. When they're new, the edge of them is actually quite sharp. It's kind of hard to see, hold against the silver there, but the side of it's pretty good. So if we can get in there to see that, but if you push, I don't know if I can actually make that move for you guys now on camera. Yeah, it's moving, see? If you get it just at the right angle, you can, there we go. And that's easily plenty of hold down force, and those are nylon lock nuts on the top of these ones for this mount. They're nylon locks, so they're not coming off, they're not going to vibrate off. And it's held down all the way, and that's the little stepper mount. So this is going to be the X-axis. The belt will go over here, and then it'll go into that funny part that I'm still finalizing. It's pretty close to being done. But this will get some glue on this face, and then the bolts will be temporary there, just till I get everything done. But then eventually this will actually get glued. I'll probably rough it up and then glue it to the end of that other part, and then the bolt, these nuts will come out, or these bolts here, and there will be some small nuts on the other side to hold it, a washer and that, and there'll be, I might have to use a little bit longer. These are 10 millimeter M3 screws. I'm probably going to have to use 15 or something like that. I got some 15s and I think I got some 20s and 24s. We'll see what fits with the washers and whatnot. But I don't expect there to be a whole lot of stress on that, because the belt will be pulling this way under tension, so it'll actually be more of an alignment thing to get started. And all these M3 holes come off on the printer almost perfect. Almost perfect. I still pass, I've got a little M3 tap, and I still just pass that through just with my fingers in and out a couple times, and then the threads are real perfect. And in PLA it's plenty strong. So anyhow, that's the motor mount. Probably went a little bit more into it than I planned, but it's done. It's plenty strong, and I only need the one of these because the opposite end of this is going to be the idler pulley assembly, and that'll be on the other end of the X-axis. And let's see here. The idea would be inside the next part that I got to design and get happy with how it'll be, will be the part that essentially holds 2 pieces of aluminum like this, and then out from there. But for those of you that have seen the planning video in Tinkercad, you know what that is. Anyhow, if you have any questions or that, or you want this part, put it down below, comments, questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you do dislike, please comment why. It helps me figure out what's going on, and if there's anything I can improve. But so, yeah. Anyhow, as I said, don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out, lets me know that you guys are liking this stuff. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.